Hello, I'm Stefanie Powers. You may know me from a television series called Heart to Heart with Robert Wagner, or you might know me from about 1,000 other things. In any event, I'm here right now talking to the wonderful Todd Wharton on his show, FaceTime. Hope you'll join us.
Hi, this is Toby Gad. You are watching FaceTime with Todd Wharton.
From Times Square in New York City, it's FaceTime with Todd Wharton. With special guest, Stefanie Powers. And musical guest, Toby Gad, featuring Angelina Jordan. And now, here is your host, Todd Wharton.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone, and welcome to another edition of FaceTime with Todd Wharton. I'm your man, your host, Todd Wharton. Thanks, girl. That's right. Love is in the air, and it's the time to spend with that special someone. And there are those that are still going to those dating apps to find that perfect match. Even me. Check it out. I don't know about you guys, but I've been a little skeptical about online dating until I checked out saycheese.com. It was really simple. All I had to do was fill out a form, and within 24 hours, they matched me up with somebody who was just like me. Wow, talk about compatibility. So I've been speaking to Kiki for about 8 months now, and I'll be honest with you, I think I found my soulmate. I'm a little nervous because tonight's our first video chat. Either way, I gotta come with my A game. So I went out and got some flowers, got my hair did, and of course, I gotta get dressed for the occasion. I think it's time to meet my future wife. Keith?
What? Oh no, that was a bad scream. Sorry. Hey Todd, I got a question. Are you a top man or a bottom man? So we're gonna do this or what, man?
Oh, what the hell, bro?
Hey man, when the test is best, you gotta put your brother to the test. Giggity, giggity, giggity.
What is wrong with you?
No, hey, don't tell my wife.
Yeah, how's your wife and my kids?
That's messed up, man.
We have a great show for you guys tonight. Hollywood TV royalty Stefanie Powers is in the house. And then later on, Grammy Award winner Toby Gad is here featuring Angelina Jordan performing their hit song, Bad Valentine, right here on FaceTime with Todd Wharton. So guys, stick around and we'll be right back after these messages. FaceTime with Todd Wharton is proudly sponsored by Fix Your Fungal Nail by Fix Your Feet Products, formulated by podiatric surgeon Dr. Yolanda Ragland to clear nails of fungal infection. For more information, go to fixyourfeetproducts.com. So welcome back to the show, everyone. So my guest tonight is a Hollywood actress. She's a 5-time Golden Globe and 2-time Emmy Award nominee for her role in the iconic series Heart to Heart, where she played Jennifer Hart, and they recently celebrated their 45th anniversary. I'm excited to talk to her. Guys, please welcome to the show, Hollywood royalty, Stefanie Powers.
Stefanie with an F. You know, most people spell Stefanie with a PH. Even my agent has spelled Stefanie with a PH. I've had contracts that were completely misspelled. And once had the cover of a book that I wrote where my name was completely misspelled. But I just want to take this moment to correct this. Stefanie with an F is, from my origins, Polish. But in Italy, Germany, Greece, all the Slavic countries, Russia, where else?
Ethiopia.
Many countries, it's all spelled with an F.
Yeah.
Because Saint Stefan, all of that. So the PH is from the old days when the English and the French established themselves in the United States. But we who have generations of Slavic people in our background spell it with an F.
Yes, everybody, she's calling me out. I'm going to let everybody know the graphics are all done. I spelled it with an F, but I will admit, when I first put you on the website, I did put PH. And when I went back, I'm like, oh, now I got to take another hour and redo all these flyers. This is, you know what? I'm calling Stefanie. I'm going to have a word with her about this because
spell check. Correct my name.
Yes.
When I type it. Spell check gives me a PH.
Well, you know what?
What are you going to do?
I think you should have a PhD in acting because you're that good. But we'll do
Thank
Stephanie
you.
as an F. Listen, I want to let my younger generation know exactly who you are. Most of the world already knows. If you guys don't know what TV royalty is, Stephanie was part, yes, I'm saying it, TV royalty. Stephanie was a part of an incredible show. It's called Heart to Heart. Now, they just celebrated the 45th anniversary in 2024. Famous co-star Robert Wagner. And I'm going to explain to you who Robert is. If you guys aren't sure who Robert is, I'm sure you guys know Austin Powers. And if you guys know the actor who played number two, that's Robert Wagner. So, Stephanie, tell me about how it felt when somebody called you or you just woke up and like, Heart to Heart is 45 years old. How did that feel?
Well, there are a lot of those moments in my life. I remember when somebody called me up and said, "We're doing a show, a special about the pioneers of television," and would you be in it? And I said, "I'm hardly a pioneer." And they said, "Oh, no, no, the girl from U.N.C.L.E., which was the first television series I ever did, when Columbia Pictures, after being under contract to Columbia Pictures in the twilight of the great movie star system, after 17 movies, they sold my contract to MGM to do The Girl from U.N.C.L.E., which was the first time that a woman had starred in an hour-long television show,
Wow.
television series. Um, we didn't make anything of it, but all those years later, when they were doing a show on the pioneers, they told me that I was a pioneer. Well, that's another one of those moments of, oh, really? Hollywood royalty? Oof. I knew Hollywood royalty
Yeah.
when it was the real thing. All those fabulous stars, and I got a chance to work with and live with one of them. Yes, William Holden,
Yeah.
who, if anybody saw Sunset Boulevard, Stalag 17, he made 100 and some odd motion pictures and won a couple of Academy Awards and was the biggest movie star of his day.
Yep.
So there were the real ones. I can't put myself in that category, but the real ones were really special.
Yeah, I'm going to put you in that category. You know what it is? It just shows what kind of person you are, right? You love what you do. You can never see yourself as that person. Well, let people like me who grew up watching you, we're going to put you in that category because it's our job to determine who is a legend and who's not. Unfortunately, the word legend gets used too many times on people that have done one thing and then they're like, oh, you're a legend. My attitude is being a legend or an icon means you did an iconic or a legendary career at what you do on top of everything else. Now, when you mentioned some of the royalty you did, I know John Wayne, Bing Crosby. I love James Caan. Even though The Godfather, I loved him in Vegas. But there's so many great people you work with, but I'm sure they loved working with you. It's like you always became a compliment to no matter what you worked on. And the history thing that you did do, I don't know if I'm sure you noticed, but you made history as a female leading role because you were the first ever to star in an hour-long series that became a leading role. So that's always going to be in the record books. Okay. And we need a heart to heart red carpet reunion cast or whoever's left. Bring out the kids. We got to do it on Hollywood Bowl. I'm going to call Paul and be like, we need to get this done, because these are the values that people would love to meet people like you. Because whether you know it or not, there are people in Hollywood that studied you. There are people in Hollywood that grew up watching you. And I have to show some love to a really good friend of mine, John Amos, who just passed.
Oh,
And that's why
yeah.
I'm telling you that
I'm sorry about John Amos
he
passing.
was great. I love his
He
son,
was.
Casey, to death, but I'm putting you in those rafters of people because you said, William and everybody else, but you're there, right? And you have a heart of gold, no pun intended with heart to heart. All right, we can use it, but you've done so much, and congratulations on the show. Now, I do want to talk about something that you're doing today. This has been a passion project of yours for a long time, obviously because of William Holden. You are the president of the William Holden Wildlife Foundation. Okay. I know there are personal reasons, but what was the real solid reason why you wanted to take this on? Not just because you were with William. There's always a bigger reason why you wanted to continue something. Tell me about that.
Well, it's a continuation, but it's also my history with wildlife and animal protection goes back to my childhood, raised by a stepfather who bred racehorses
Right.
and thoroughbred racehorses, and was a collector of exotic animals.
Mhm.
He, when, as with all children, we all wanted, I want a horse, I want a, I want a dog, I wanted it, he wanted to teach me tough love. He wanted to teach me what it was to be the responsible person who takes on the life of an
Right.
animal. So he took me to the killers. He took me to where the horses are all gathered together before they're going to go in and be slaughtered for horse meat, dog meat. I never saw them being slaughtered. No, that was, but I saw them waiting, and
Right.
I saw pretty ones and ugly ones and old ones and young ones. And the lesson he wanted to teach me was that if you take on the life of an animal and you don't commit for the long haul, this is what could happen to them. So I think I learned my lesson very well. I walked into, many years later, I walked into a pet shop in West Hollywood.
Right.
And there in the center of the floor, surrounded by a cage, was an 8-week-old, roughly 8-week-old Malaysian sun bear, whose mother had obviously been poached
Mhm.
for the whatever they could get from her, but also the baby was taken for the illegal animal trade.
Wow.
And I walked into this place where I used to buy things for my dogs, and I said, "What are you doing with this? My God, this is a bear." He said, "Yes, it is. It's from Malaysia." And I said, "But nobody's going to take the full responsibility. What's going to happen to this boy?" And I was ranting so much that he said, "Well, if you feel so passionate about it, why don't you buy him?" So I said, "Right, I will." So I came home with a baby bear that I was nursing with a baby bottle.
Oh my God.
And I had him for 12 years before, unfortunately, he got a congestion. He got pneumonia. And unfortunately, poor baby died. But he had
Oh
a
my
great
God.
life. He had a great life for 12 years
I
that
can
he might
imagine.
otherwise not have had. So that commitment to wildlife and to conservation, having Eugene, my bear, opened the door to a lot of the plight of exotic animals as they are when they are then when they're brought to countries that they don't belong in,
Yeah.
or they're brought for personal use. A lot of people in the drug trades like to use tigers and lions to patrol their territories, and they don't feed them, so that they're very docile. That's not the way to do it, is it?
Right.
I mean, what are we doing? You know, we just think that we're so important we can kill or use anything and everything. I guess we do, because otherwise the world wouldn't be physically in the state that it is. This was a passion of William Holden as well, who in 1959 created the first ever game ranch for the preservation of species in Africa.
Wow.
This was long before anybody had the word conservation in their vocabulary.
Hmm.
He was a visionary,
Yeah.
and he carried on with that. I became a partner in the game ranch. And when Bill died, he had always wanted to build an education center for local people to
Yeah.
learn about their biodiversity and learn about the importance of preserving the food chain that allows for this extraordinary planet to support our lives. And unfortunately, he didn't live to see it come to fruition. But after his death, I formed the William Holden Wildlife Foundation so that
Mhm.
we could build and carry on with the concepts that he was promoting for local people. We service now at our main education center, we service about 11,000 students a year. And our outreach program into very rural and very poor areas reaches another close to 6,000 communities and people in very rural circumstances. So we're busy.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Do you travel the world on public speaking classes about how to get involved with what you're doing and the importance of why wildlife is such a great part of our lives? Because people forget, they call it the food chain, but also people forget there's a reason why every single animal, insect, whatever you want to call them, are on this earth. And there's reasons why they're here, whether they eat this germ or this animal eats this animal. Have you ever done classes like that to explain the importance of why every single animal on earth is important?
Well, it's part of our curricula at the education centers. So yes, we certainly have that aspect of the curricula. And personally, I've traveled in, I guess I'll call it, uncomfortable places all my life,
Mm.
of rivers with the countless insects, and seen firsthand in the front lines some of the abuse of our natural resources. Our natural resources, our flora and fauna,
Wow.
and how difficult it is to recover. So when we formed the William Holden Wildlife Foundation, the mission statement was wildlife conservation through education and alternatives to habitat destruction for all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the principal reasons that we've got all this climate change, this nightmare going on, because we've cut down so much of the natural world.
Yeah.
For what? For, I don't know, our own purposes, but ever consuming we are, this funny species we are with two legs.
Yeah, and we're not going to really dive into it because too many people are talking about it, but you hit it on the nose. We do so much to kill what the world, that beautifies us, from the forest to the ground to the sky to smoke and everything, which what just happened, nature, or if we find out it wasn't nature, can consume our entire lives in a week by destroying homes and
In
forests.
Los Angeles, yes.
Yeah.
Well, you can
So,
realize, you see the fragile nature of life.
yeah.
You know? It's the circumstances. I guess the horrible expression is to say that these fires were part of a phenomenon, a weather phenomenon
Yeah.
that was like the perfect storm.
Right.
We had unbelievable winds that gusted from 80 to 100 miles an hour.
Crazy. Yeah.
After a period of such dryness that we hadn't had rain for almost 8 months. And so it was a tinderbox that just went up. There were some fires that were man-made, yes, absolutely.
Right.
Not enough people were caught, but some were. There were some that were explosions from electrical boxes, but all of it put together formed this Holocaust.
Yeah.
Really, literally, it was an inferno. I used to live in Malibu, and I lived through 3 Malibu fires, so I know what that sounds like, and I know how this amazing wind that the fire creates, as well as the exploding bushes, and what noise that is. It is frightening to be in the
Yeah.
center of the fire. All I can say is God bless those firefighters, everybody who risked their lives to go into those places. It's impossible to describe.
Yeah, it's not. And I want to give some love to Holland, your publicist, because I did put a post out. He sent me a picture of what his home looks like now.
Oh, it was a
And I sent
beautiful
it out on social media because I wanted everybody to understand this is a friend of mine who got affected. Hundreds and thousands of people responded to it. And the only reason why I did it, because you never know who may be looking at that post that can actually contribute or didn't know and reach out. Because when somebody's going through that, you obviously can't build them a new home unless you're that rich. But sometimes just reaching out to somebody, giving them a virtual hug or calling them to let them know if you need anything, we're here. it may not help financially, but it helps a long way that comes to your heart because emotion can take over your whole life and you get lost. And thankfully, Holland has a lot of people like you, me, Lee Purcell, and a lot of great people he's around that really supported him. And that's why I'm telling people, don't ever take life for granted. You know, when it comes to animals or nature or environment.
Speaking of animals, I mean, there's an equestrian center in Los Angeles in Burbank, which is not too far from access for the Altadena people. There were
Mhm.
367 horses evacuated to that facility.
Wow.
There was enough stabling for them, but nobody had buckets to put water in for them to drink. Nobody had raised enough money to buy masses of hay. So we're all rushing around trying to, I'm a horse person, and trying to collect all sorts of things and feed these horses and wash their eyes out. And it was a massive effort by the horse community, which it is, all us horsey people.
Yeah, I love how passionate you are. I know they're right now in the midst of putting a book together, which are going to include you on a lot of the people that are giving back to a lot of foundations. But I do want to talk about something that you were honored by. There's a huge award that the UN gives called Agent of Change Award. It's for people who go out of their way, selfless acts to really get back to our world. And you were recently given this award by the United Nations. How did that feel, knowing that you're, you
Well,
know,
I was with a group of about 26
yeah,
people who were highlighted um, and are continuing to be highlighted on an ebook, which is available for free in the hopes of inspiring others to do the kind of work in these specific areas that all of us are doing. It's not necessarily a fundraising effort, but it is hopefully to stimulate people to find something that they feel impassioned about
right.
and join in, or either join our organizations or create one of their own. I think anybody who works as selflessly as we need to in these endeavors is looking at these honors, as I look at them, as a lovely and wonderful tribute from which we gain credibility. But it is, the work is the most important thing, and the continuation of the work. We put our foundations in perpetuity. So this, hopefully, our education programs that benefit so many people are going to last long after I'm dust. But that's the hope, and we need the next generations to empower themselves in these ways, because I'm sorry, but we can't depend on governments to do it. All they do is shake hands and take pictures and go to conferences and about climate change, which from which nothing ever happens.
Yeah, and you always notice that every 4 years they take charge of what they feel they want to, work on, and then when the next 4 year comes, it either gets backtracked or moves forward. And I agree with you, more gets done when it's not in politics. And I'm not trying to put down any politicians. We get it. You got 4 years, but more gets done when people dedicate their lives, right, to making it better. And I always tell people, passion is your life changing. It's your lifetime achievement award. Like with a marriage, you put your whole heart into it till the day you die. So if you decide to get into a charity, make sure you're passionate, guys, because don't do it for a short term just to make yourself look good. Because looking good is when you create a legacy based on helping people. And if people turn around and be like, wow, Stephanie's been doing that for this long, she really gave a crap about the animals. Because if you only did this for a year and then decided to do something else, but you talked about it all the time, people would never take you seriously. So we commend you for the work that you've done. And I'm sure Williams up there being like, man,
I'm sure he laughs every once in a while about things that happen.
yeah, she's like,
I'm
she's
sure
doing a
he
lot
does.
better than me.
I talked to him up there. Well, I
Yeah.
also had the great privilege to develop the Jaguar Conservation Trust for
Yes.
for Jaguar Motor Company. And we operated for 5 years in Belize, Guatemala, and Costa Rica, giving small grants to indigenous populations who worked on their own to preserve and protect the North American jaguars.
Oh, I
And
love it.
that was unlike any other organization that was determined to aid local people doing work on their own for the preservation of these iconic animals.
Now, let me ask some for these foundations, where's the best place that people can go where they can learn more about the William Holden Wildlife Foundation? Is there a certain website that they can go to? They can learn more and volunteer. What's the website for that?
Absolutely. The website is the acronym. So it's whwf.org. And all I want to say is that we couldn't do any of this work without the generosity of our donors. We are loyal to our donors to a fault. You know, we operate on a zero overhead.
Yeah.
We guarantee that 100% of the donation goes exactly where it was meant to go. So we commend all of the generous tendencies of our population, because the Americans of any country in the world, we are the most singularly generous and benevolent people on the planet. Something happens, look at yourself. The first thing you want to do is to help do something to raise money to help the people with the fires.
Yeah.
That all that generosity is, I never see that in other countries. I never see it quite in the same way. Everybody's there to try and do something. And I think we never hear enough good stuff about our country and our population. We are always criticized, and I think we need to pat ourselves on the shoulder and say, we do come to the fore whenever we're needed.
I think should be a spokesperson for change of the world, to be honest with you. And you want to know something? I agree with you 100% because one thing I'll say is it's amazing when people come together during tragedy. There's no culture involved, there's no race. It's about human helping human. The sad part about it is we only seem to come together stronger when there's tragedy instead of just coming together just to enjoy each other's company as we live on this earth. And I'm hoping one day that tragedy and actually good times can actually equal each other, where we're coming together not because of something bad happened, but we're human. And I'm hoping that does happen one day. It may not be in our generations, but maybe.
Wouldn't it be nice if we celebrated our differences and learned from our differences rather than condemn each other for our differences? It
100%.
would be a miracle if we could. We talk about generosity. If we could have that generosity of spirit to understand debate, I want somebody to believe in something differently than I do. I want
Right.
to debate that. I want to learn from them. Why are we so afraid to do that?
I think people get in their own way. And I don't know what it is. We can only explain us, like what we do. Like you can explain why you do what you do. I can explain why I want to reach through the screen and give you a hug. It may not be an award, but it's a way of me saying thank you. But there are people out there that say they'll do things and they don't. And there are people that use social media and claim they're these big activists, but they're not. And I always tell people, if you really want to do something, then do it. Get offline and leave your house and go. Volunteer, you know, it's about that human connection, I think, that we're missing today. And you can be talking your ears off on exactly what you're saying, and then hopefully more and more people can hear that, right? I can't explain it, I'll be honest with you. But I can explain that you're amazing and I love what you do.
Thank
And
you, thank you.
congrats on everything that you're doing. And before we go, I do want to note, I love the fact actors do it all the time. You found yourself going back to the stage and you're working on The King and I. You did Sunset Boulevard, on Golden Pond. And I've noticed that with a lot of actors, they always find themselves going back to the stage because the stage is where most of us started. How did you feel when you went back to stage? Was it kind of like riding a bike again once you got on that stage?
Boy, it's been a long time since I remember when I went. But,
Yeah,
I don't think we have to. I think, those of us who entered the business, I'll call it the business of entertainment,
yep,
and wanted to be actors and performers. We entered the business in order, and we learned the craft of acting
yeah,
from people who were teaching us how to slip into the skin of the character
mhm,
rather than be ourselves.
right,
And the more versatile you could be, the broader the spectrum of the work you could possibly acquire. So I began life as a ballet dancer, and then I got too tall, and I developed a chest, which put me right out of the right out of the chorus, and into jazz dancing.
yeah,
And after many auditions, I was hired for the movie West Side Story
that's right.
as one of the Jets. But I was just about 16 years old, and it was not. I couldn't work all the hours that were necessary because of the law. In those days, the legal age was 21. So anyway, that was a great training ground, and I'm still friendly with some of the cast from the movie.
Yep.
So it was the natural transition to not only incorporate, what I was learning and what one continues to learn about performing as an actor. Singing and dancing in the theater goes back to my DNA.
Yeah,
So it was always a joy.
yeah,
And doing The King and I in the West End in England, and then touring the United States with this fabulous piece of work for 10 months was just as good as it gets.
yes, it does. Well, I wanted to bring that up because I love, like I said, when people go back to where they started, because it's always about giving back to your craft, kind of saying thank you to the stage, because we all, whether we started in stage or a commercial, it's always good to find a way back home. But I think the best home that you're working on right now is the Wildlife Foundation, the home to the animals. So we commend you for doing that.
Thank you.
And we want to see continued success on this foundation. Guys, definitely go to our website. You can donate, you can volunteer, and you can just learn how important all these animals are to our wildlife world, to our world in general, to our ecosystem. It all comes into play. We're all here for a reason. So let's enjoy each other and let's have some fun. And I want to thank you, Stefanie Powers, with an F, for being up FaceTime with Todd Wharton. I appreciate you, and thank you for all the great TV shows that you did over the years, and congrats on all your accolades up to this point.
Thank you, Todd.
So don't go away, guys, because coming right back is Grammy Award winning Toby Gad featuring Angelina Jordan. They're performing a hit song, Bad Valentine, right here on FaceTime with Todd Wharton. So stick around.
Listen up. Are you embarrassed to show your feet in public? Do you wear water shoes to the pool or wear socks to bed? Do you bury your feet in the sand when you're at the beach? Do your feet look like this? Okay, calm down. And that's why you must have Fix Your Fungal Nail. You just simply want to get rid of those gross, disgusting, embarrassing toenails. Trust me, I'm the queen of toes. Check it out. Go to fixyourfeetproducts.com and I'll see you soon.
Go to fixyourfeetproducts.com. That's fixyourfeetproducts.com.
Hey guys, you're about to watch my new music video, Bad Valentine, ready for Valentine's Day, your worst Valentine's date ever, featuring Angelina Jordan.
I stood you up on Valentine, gave you no reason why, decided I cut you off without a tear in my eye. I had to hide when I saw you on some table for two. I knew I'd never see the sunshine with you, So I spent my night with the moon. I thought I told you I would miss up your heart. I warned you right from the start. Roses are red and violets are blue. And you are a fool to try, 'cause I'm a bad Valentine. I'm a bad Valentine. Just had a feeling it was time to let the flowers die. Maybe I've gotten so mean to you, 'cause you're always so nice. You even smile when you were hurt, sugar-coated my words. When you shut up and breathe on fire and show me you're a fighter, oh, that's how you lost all your worth. I thought I told you I would miss you. I warned you right from the start. Roses are red, violets are blue. You are a fool to try, 'cause I'm a bad Valentine. Should have known. If you only hear what you wanna hear, you're never gonna know me. Whoa, should have known. If you only see what you wanna see, I thought I told you I will miss of you. I warned you right from the start. Yeah. Roses are red and violets are blue. You are a fool to try, 'cause I'm a bad Valentine. No, 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 'cause I'm a bad Valentine.
So I just want to take a moment to thank my guests, Stefanie Powers, Toby Gad, and Angelina Jordan, for stopping by FaceTime with Todd Wharton. Stefanie, first of all, congratulations on an iconic career. It's such an honor to have you on the show. And even better, congrats on all the contributions that you have done through the William Holden Wildlife Foundation. It's people like you that make this world a better place. Toby, you're my guy. It's always an honor to have you back. So many hits after hits after hits. And you're also bringing on some great artists in Angelina Jordan. Guys, check all these artists out on all social media platforms. But before we go, again, happy Valentine's Day. I hope you enjoyed this episode, because you know I did. But until the next time, everyone, if you're not living a passionate life, you live like you will. Take care, guys. I'll see you soon.